Part 58. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 571. The lake was constantly shaking in the sound waves, and countless weak strange beings were instantly killed. Taking advantage of his illness, a colorful divine needle with an incomparable penetrating power pierced towards the eyebrows of the octopus strange being. There was the human head face of the octopus strange being, and it was also the core position of its power. However, at this time, the octopus strange being was struggling madly, and its eyes were pierced all over its body, causing it great damage. It was shaking its body madly because of the severe pain. Lin Yi's 5 elements divine needle suddenly launched a fatal attack, making this strange human face aware of the danger. It waved its octopus legs wildly, stirring the entire lake bottom into a daze. The violent power destroyed everything around it crazily, and the 5 elements divine needles were hit by a tentacle and bounced more than 10 meters away on the spot. This violent octopus strange being, except for the eyes, its tentacles were too tough, and the 5 elements divine needles could not pierce them. Lin Yi frowned when he saw it. The 5 elements divine needle in his hand is basically a medium-grade magic weapon. After being injected with the power of the earth immortal Dao, its penetration is very strong. But it cannot pierce the skin of this strange octopus. Thinking of the strange boss that the Deputy General Manager Fei Jian could not kill in the underground laboratory of Honglian City. It can only leave scars on the other party. He thought in his heart, these ghosts and strange beings at the level of earth immortal Dao are very difficult to kill. This level of strange beings seems to have undergone some kind of body changes. It is completely different from the strange beings at the level of ghost immortal Dao. The light of the true destiny in his eyes kept flashing, and he carefully observed the secrets of the body of this octopus. It is necessary to find the weakness of this level of strange existence in order to kill it with one blow, otherwise it will be too passive to deal with it. He must have a fatal and effective killing method. At this time, Lin Yi was in the state of true destiny without boundaries, controlling the earth seal to continuously gather the power of the void. The earth seal completely turned into a dark hill, emitting a huge force field, pressing down on the strange octopus. The tentacles of the strange octopus hit the mountain above frantically, trying to knock it down. But Lin Yi spent at least 30% of the power of the earth immortal Dao to inject it, and also used the root of true life to absorb the energy of the void. The superposition of the two almost raised the power of the earth seal to the limit of the treasure. A wisp of mysterious power continued to permeate from the earth seal and connected with the land at the bottom of the lake. At this moment, this earth seal is merging with the force field of the earth. This treasure was obtained from Lao Wei, and its origin is mysterious. It was not until he stepped into the earth immortal Dao that he could fully develop all its power. This is a genuine top-grade magic weapon, and it is unknown what era it was left over from. It has a special effect, that is, once it is pushed to the extreme, it will resonate with the power of the mountains and rivers, and suppress the enemy with the power of a nearby piece of land. The enemy cannot escape from the restraint of the earth seal, which is its greatest function, suppression. At this time, the octopus weird existence was undoubtedly suppressed. The power from the earth seal has been connected to the bottom of the lake, forming a huge force field that makes it unable to escape. Lin Yi stood in front of it, quietly watching the crazy struggling octopus-shaped weird existence. The brilliance of the true destiny in his eyes was exerted to the extreme, constantly observing the essence of this octopus weird existence. Soon, he saw all the secrets of this octopus weird existence, and transformed it into information that he could understand through the true destiny. Interesting, the strange existences at the level of earth immortal Dao, their bodies have indeed changed and turned into a strange network structure. All the material structures condensed by the strange power are intertwined to form a dense network. When the strange power is actively gathered on these networks, their bodies will become more resilient and can resist strong physical and energy shocks. The most important thing is that their material structure has completely surpassed the body structure of ordinary strange existences. To put it simply, it is similar to a pure mechanical structure and no longer has any life structure properties. Whether it is cells or other biological tissues, they no longer exist. The mass of the body is 10 times that of the existence of the same size. It is really a strange life form. Lin Yi's eyes showed a hint of complexity. He has seen the secret of the strange existence of Earth Immortal Deo. It will become more and more difficult for practitioners to kill them. Every time you need to exert all your strength and completely defeat their defense system. This is something you have to do desperately to do. After understanding it, his eyes showed a hint of solemnity. My spiritual waves have always had a huge targeted killing power against strange beings. Maybe my thinking should be changed back to using spiritual waves as the main force to kill strange beings. Thinking of this, a trace of spiritual waves, along the mysterious connection, was injected into the 5 elements divine needle. The next moment, the 5 elements divine needle, which was running with colorful flowing light, was covered with a pure green light. Then Lin Yi controlled the 5 elements divine needle and flew towards the center of the octopus's head. There was a hideous, painful, and weird human face, looking at Lin Yi viciously, as if wanting to eat him alive. Looking at the oncoming green 5-element divine needle, it danced its octopus tentacles, trying to knock the 5-element divine needle away again. But something that frightened it happened. The spiritual waves covering the 5-element divine needle seemed to be its nemesis. The indestructible tentacles began to disintegrate the moment they touched the 5-element divine needle. Whoosh! In an instant, several intercepting tentacles were all pierced, and the 5-element divine needle appeared in front of it, fiercely piercing into the center of the eyebrows of the hideous human face. Without any resistance, the face of the center of the eyebrows solidified. A green light spread from the center of the eyebrows to the body of the weird octopus. From the pierced eyes, a series of green light shone out. At this time, the weird octopus was shrouded in endless green light from the inside out. Its body began to swell violently, and its tentacles slapped around frantically. It seemed to want to make a final dying struggle, but its power was so small. The earth-suppressing seal on its head shrank along with its power, and then pressed down heavily. At this time, the Black Mountain had expanded to cover an area of 10 meters in radius. It pressed down heavily on this strange octopus. Rumble! A huge explosion sounded, and this strange octopus shattered directly into countless fragments. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 572. A deep and strange power was drawn into Lin Yi's body. The strange power of the earthly immortal level was very pure and seemed to have some very strange changes. It was a strange power that seemed to have spirituality, and was directly drawn into the center of the sphere composed of the 6 true lives. There was a green gem there. I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow g.s situation. After this pure strange power was drawn into it, it seemed to have undergone a wonderful change. The strange power quickly turned into a wisp of green light like smoke. This wisp of light floated in the gem, and it didn't seem to flow out at all. Seeing this scene, Lin Yi's heart moved, because this was a phenomenon that he didn't have when he killed ordinary strange beings. The series of attacks just now caused various impacts, killing all the strange beings within a radius of hundreds of meters around the octopus strange being. But their core strange power was only drawn into the sphere in his body and transformed into spiritual waves, increasing the upper limit of the spiritual wave sphere, but did not flow into the blue gem. And only this strange existence at the level of earthly immortals, after death, the core strange power was sucked into the gem, producing unknown changes. Looking at the wisp of smoke in the gem, a wonderful color flashed in Ling Yi's eyes. It seems that I need to study this gem carefully. I need to deduce the 7th true destiny. Its characteristics should be to make the spiritual wave endless. From all the knowledge I have learned, This true destiny is equivalent to breaking the law of conservation of energy. It is definitely not easy to deduce this kind of thing. If you want to deduce successfully, you must not avoid the original Yiling Jing. And now this scripture has turned into a gem. If I want to complete the seventh true destiny, I can only find a way from it. Thinking of this, Lin Yi's eyes showed a trace of thought, a weird existence at the level of Earth immortals. It can produce the core weird power that this gem absorbs, and then transform it into mysterious spiritual waves and smoke. This may be the secret of deduction. Thinking of this, his eyes showed a trace of solemnity. Does it mean that in order to complete the deduction, I need to kill more weird existences at the level of immortals? Thinking of this, he couldn't help but sigh. That's troublesome. The true destiny is his most fundamental secret, and he will never reveal it to anyone. Each true destiny has unimaginable abilities. When they are combined, they represent freedom. And now he wants to complete the last true destiny and obtain the ultimate freedom, which seems not easy. He took a deep breath and looked around. The bottom of the lake was already dead silent. In the battle between him and the octopus weird existence just now, the weird existences within a radius of 100 meters were affected and all killed. With the death of these weird existences, the weird existences on this lake all instinctively left, as if they lacked some kind of restraint. Seeing this, a trace of solemnity appeared in his eyes. I have basically cleaned up the weird existences in Donglan City. But unfortunately, there is no one here anymore, a dead city. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but think of the future of the Red Lotus realm. Perhaps the current Donglan City is the future Red Lotus realm. All that needs to be done has been done, and it's time to leave. The next step is to leave here. Prepare to face the storm of Red Lotus City. With such a good opportunity, Xing Yuezi and the Deputy General Manager will probably take action. I can also take this opportunity to steal enough skills, and maybe I can bring these two enemies to death. Thinking of this, Lin Yi showed a sneer in his eyes. He had expected all the situations today. No matter what these sects planned to do, he would take advantage in the end. At the level of earthly immortal Dao, he has the confidence to face anyone, even the combat power of heavenly immortal Dao, he can arrange it calmly. And with these 6 true destinies, he is even more fearless. A few minutes later, he returned to the Wanchaiwu, where everything was calm. Occasionally, strange beings would come, and they would be killed by Brandy and the maze puppets. Seeing Lin Yi return, Brandy and the others all showed joy on their faces. "Manager, you're back." The voices of several people sounded one after another, and Lin Yi nodded slightly to them. "I'm back, let's go back to Honglian City, there is still a big storm waiting for us." Brandy and others were stunned, but at this time Lin Yi had already communicated with the mobile black stone slab. A strange force enveloped the Wanchaiwu, and in the hazy, Wanchaiwu slowly disappeared from Donglan City. Honglian City last night. When Lin Yi's Wanchaiwu disappeared, a wave had already been set off. A mysterious aura came nearby, and they were exploring the location of the Wanchaiwu through various methods. There was only a deep pit left there, nothing left. It looked like the Wanchaiwu was dug out of thin air. The faces of the mysterious people showed different expressions, disbelief, and confusion. Some people had some vague guesses in their hearts, and their eyes gathered here. At least 30 sect masters of the earthly immortal level came here silently. Sakuramiya surely was in the mansion of the Sakuramiya family at this time. When she heard the news that the Wanchaiwu had disappeared, a trace of solemnity appeared on her face. She got the news of the disappearance of Wanchaiwu at the first time. Since the 2 lifespans were exchanged, many mysterious people came to Honglian City almost on the same day, crossing thousands of miles. They all came to the outside of Wanchaiwu and stared at it closely. This incident also alarmed the upper echelons of the empire, but after learning the whole story, the upper echelons of the empire did not take any action. No one notified Lin Yi, Even though he was an external specialist of the black-clothed man, no one asked about this matter. It seemed that everyone in the world had lost Lin Yi's companion. Sakuramiya surely did not notify Lin Yi because she did not realize that the people from the sect came so quickly at first. When she got the news, it was already late at night. She originally planned to notify Lin Yi early tomorrow morning. But she was shocked to receive the news that the Wanchaiwu disappeared. But at this moment, her mind flashed back to the last conversation with Lin Yi. The other party said that he could leave the Red Lotus realm and go to an unknown time and space. Is he gone? Thinking of this, she couldn't help but take out the yellow note from her clothes. There was a faint strange power on it, as if it was connected to some unknown power. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 573. Sakuramiya surely sighed deeply. If you really leave, it would be a good thing, and this conflict can be avoided. The deputy director has returned, and he seems to be ready to participate in this storm. If this is the means you have prepared to deal with it, it is not bad. Thinking of this, she couldn't help but smile. Lin Yi was able to escape, which also meant that she would have another way to live in the future. At least I have to wait until grandpa dies peacefully before I can leave. Thinking of her grandfather's body, she couldn't help but look sad again. Although the spiritual explosion brought countless benefits, it couldn't save the dying. Sakuramiya Shirley's grandfather, the head of the Sakuramiya family. His cultivation is only at the peak of the mortal path, perhaps due to his qualifications and old life. He has never been able to break through the last barrier and step into the human immortal path to prolong his life. He died during this period, and he has fallen into the dying stage. Sakuramiya Shirley has been guarding his bed almost every day recently, waiting for the arrival of the last day. Human power is limited, but the way of heaven is infinite. Lifespan is determined by heaven, and no one can change it. If Lin Yi hadn't left, maybe I could get some lifespan crystals from him. Thinking of this, she looked down at the two treasures on her desk. Xuanhuan Tower and Linglong Dei. She was going to send these two treasures to Wanchaiwu tomorrow morning. But now Wanchaiwu suddenly disappeared, which disrupted her plan. Originally, she wanted to use her help to Lin Yi to temporarily borrow a lifespan crystal that could extend his life for a few years. Let her grandfather survive this period, and then she will calmly find some treasures to exchange more lifespan from Lin Yi, so that her grandfather can survive in a roundabout way. Since her parents died, it was her grandfather who brought her up. She would naturally do her best to keep her grandfather alive. At this time, a new message was delivered to her. The Wanchaiwu appeared again. Didn't he leave the Red Lotus realm? Then where did the Wanchaiwu go? Thinking of this, she couldn't wait to call Lin Yi. Beep beep. But unfortunately, no one answered. Sakuramiya surely couldn't help but frowned. She didn't know what was going on. Why didn't he answer the phone? Did something happen? Sakuramiya surely didn't know that once it was past 12 o'clock in the middle of the night, no information from the outside world could enter the Wanchaiwu. The information of the Wanchaiwu would not be leaked to the outside world. The Wanchaiwu would be connected to another unknown world in the middle of the night. Unless someone directly opened the door of the Wanchaiwu and entered the Wanchaiwu, it would be possible to establish contact with Lin Yi and others in the Wanchaiwu. In the Wanchaiwu, Lin Yi sat in front of the French window, looking outside through the French window, where the world had changed. There was a strange world filled with fog, and all kinds of hideous trees grew there. You can often see all kinds of strange beings wandering around, stopping outside the French windows and observing the Wanchaiwu. At this time, a strange figure appeared there. It was a monster with bright red skin, spiral horns on its head, holding a black steel fork in its hand, and looking like a large Lafite red wine. He was 10 meters tall and was walking from the distance of the fog. His eyes had locked onto Lin Yi. There was a scarlet light flashing in his eyes, which was a light of cruelty, tyranny, and wisdom, without any trace of mercy and kindness. Just a few seconds later, he stood 10 meters in front of the French windows. He looked at Lin Yi closely, and a low voice sounded in Lin Yi's ears. It was an extremely strange language. It was full of evil and destruction, and it could even make the spirit of the person who heard it fall directly and the whole person mutate. At this time, Lin Yi was the only one in the lobby, and everyone else was driven to the basement. Except for the maze puppet, no one stayed on the ground. Human, hand over Hong. Hong? You mean that little thing? He, why should I hand him over to you? Now he is my servant of everything. The huge red-skinned monster looked at Lin Yi with indifference in his eyes. If you don't hand it over, I will find you when your world is completely fallen. Catch you and throw you into the red prison, so that you will suffer forever and cannot extricate yourself. Are you sure you want to disobey my order? Lin Yi's eyes quietly looked at this strange existence. The true destiny solution allows him to see through all time and space restrictions. This is a terrifying existence that can rival the level of Tianxiandao. The pure power in his body alone is more than 5 times his. It is equal to 15 times that of an ordinary earthly immortal master. This is already a double gap in size and quality. Once they meet, there is almost no possibility of victory. But unfortunately, there is a barrier of time and space between them. The one in front of him is of the same family as Lafite red wine, and he is strong. But if it wants to threaten Lin Yi now, it can't do it. It can't come over at all, and can't affect Lin Yi. If you have the ability, you can come to me when the time comes, as long as you can find me. The huge red-skinned monster frowned slightly when he heard Lin Yi's words. The hideous face, like a skeleton, showed a trace of coldness. I hope you remember what you said today. Your fate has been decided the moment you opened your mouth. Lin Yi smiled coldly, really? Then you can give it a try. The huge red-skinned monster took a deep look at Lin Yi, as if to remember him in his heart, turned around and strode into the mist, disappearing without a trace. Looking at his disappearing back, Lin Yi couldn't help but frowned, thinking of Lafite red wine. This guy really has no memory of the other world. Could it be that what did it do in the other world that would have such a level of existence chasing it out and wanting to capture her back? All kinds of thoughts flashed through his mind, and Lin Yi had a feeling that this matter would not end like this. Let's see the situation first, and throw him out if there is really danger in the future. Anyway, it's just a weird existence, and there is no interest relationship. In the entire Wanchaiwu, Lin Yi only has a certain relationship with brandy. Others such as vodka, absinthe, and Lafite red wine are just his slaves. If necessary, he can abandon these people at any time. After all, they have never been loyal to him, and there is no friendship. Lin Yi slowly lowered his head, and a new idea flashed through his mind. Now that the power I have mastered has been tested, and the 6 true destinies have been completed, it's time to prepare. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 574. The magic weapon I entrusted Sakuramiya Shirley to exchange is expected to be available tomorrow. All preparations have been made, and the Acacia Bell can be activated at any time. The time in the Red Lotus world is probably coming to an end. Have a good rest today, the storm is coming. At the same time, in areas thousands of miles away in the Red Lotus realm, energy barriers and defense systems have not yet been deployed. A huge change is taking place. Countless strange beings are gathering towards the area closest to Red Lotus City. In the sky, underground, and on the ground, countless strange beings are coming. They are converging on this area in various ways. This wild area is about 1,000 kilometers away from Honglian City. It is an uninhabited area and there is no food cultivation. It can be said to be very barren. Between this area and Honglian City, there is an area of more than 500 kilometers, covered by energy barriers divided one after another. Most of the areas where food is grown are filled with countless combat robots patrolling them. A huge strange force formed black clouds, which continued to gather in the sky. Expanding at a geometric rate, strange black clouds and mist covering hundreds of kilometers appeared in the sky. And under this sky, what can be seen is a dense and endless number of strange creatures. Most of them retain some of the limbs of various wild creatures in the Red Lotus world. These strange beings were originally supposed to be cruel and ruthless things that would even fight each other. But at this time, they were very quiet, gathering here quietly, arranged neatly, like an army. Although there are more than millions of weird beings here, 99% of them are only at the level of mortals or immortals. Two strange figures appeared here. They were Gu Huawei with white gloves, and his loyal follower Ai Cheng. After the two of them appeared here, all the strange beings looked at them. Among these weird beings, there are at least more than 300 weird beings at the Earth immortal level. Terrifying auras filled the air from their bodies, but these strange beings at the level of Earth immortals all surrendered in front of Gu Huawei. They lined up neatly, looking at Gu Huawei with cold eyes, waiting for his orders like soldiers. Gu Huawei's eyes looked at countless strange existences, and lo, evil words slowly flowed out of his mouth. Like musical notes, they echo in the minds of these strange beings. Let's go, destroy the last capital of mankind, and completely interrupt their hopes. All civilizations will return to mystery. One after another, the strange beings looked towards Honglian City and roared one after another, like the horn of war. They set off. Vast, millions of strange beings surged towards Red Lotus City like an irresistible black torrent. In the sky, the satellite that has been patrolling the entire Red Lotus world has monitored this black cloud covering an area of hundreds of kilometers. The first level alarm was transmitted to the entire Red Lotus world in an instant. A few minutes later, a sharp alarm sounded in the Honglian City Council Hall. One projection after another appeared in the Parliament Hall. A three-dimensional projection screen appeared in the center of the hall, and all the congressmen and senior officials of the empire saw the content of the screen. The Prime Minister of Red Lotus City looked ugly, as did the Imperial Elder, the head of the Men in Black headquarters, and the Strange Object Management Office Xuanhuan. A cold voice echoed in the entire Parliament Hall. According to the current satellite images, the number of strange existences approaching tens of millions is heading towards Red Lotus City. Contact time for the defensive zone is 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Whether to mobilize the battle robot swarm and the Imperial Army to the outermost defense zone. Prime Minister Hong Lian said in a heavy voice, immediately mobilize all military forces to deploy defenses in the outermost defense zone. Inform the sect and people on the weird side and ask them to come quickly for support. The strange existence has obviously produced a leader. They want to defeat us at once and completely destroy the rule of the empire. The lips are dead and the teeth are cold. If the capital of the empire is defeated, the sect and weird side will also be destroyed. Notify all governors immediately and mobilize all troops from each province to come for support. The decisive battle is about to begin, Prime Minister Hong Lian said with a serious face. At this time, the voice of artificial intelligence slowly sounded, yes, the order has been issued and has reached the hands of various forces and personnel. Prime Minister Hong Lian looked at the imperial headquarters, Xuanhuan, and the imperial elders. Three of you, the empire is in its most dangerous state now, and the empire needs your help. Xuanhuan looked at Prime Minister Hong Lian and said solemnly, Prime Minister, please rest assured, we will definitely take action on this matter. As long as they don't have enough combat power at the level of the immortal Dao, these weird existences can't turn the world upside down. Now that they have launched a general attack, we can take advantage of their tactics and gather all our strength to clear out all these weird existences. That might not necessarily be a bad thing. Hearing Huang Yuxian's words, everyone's brows jumped. They could smell the blood in it. Some congressmen's arms trembled, and looks of fear appeared on their faces. It is unknown how many people will die in this battle. If they fail, all of them will die. Although Huang Yuxian and the others said it lightly, these counselors did not believe them. The existence of the Tianxian Dao level is strong, but they do not believe that they can decide the outcome of this war. The Prime Minister of Honglian City looked serious, his eyes flashed with solemnity, and he looked at the governor of the northern province. Governor of the north, you may need your army to come now. Your team has a huge suppressive effect on strange existences. I don't know when you can mobilize the team. Everyone's eyes turned to the governor of the northern province Tongshenzi. Tongshenzi had a smile on his face. This was a great opportunity. In front of the entire empire, showing the strength of the Northern Legion is a strength that can subvert the world. It can completely target any strange existence and bring victory to mankind again. He smiled and said calmly, "Of course, no problem. I will order my army to march to Honglian City in a moment. It will take about 12 hours. But I have a part of the army close to Honglian province. They will be the fastest team to reach the defense zone, with a number of about 100,000. I request full command of the defense zone. I will deal with this war. The House of Everything I Created." Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 575. Hearing that Tongshenzi agreed so easily, the governors of other states all showed surprise. They originally thought that Tongshenzi would refuse to preserve his strength, but they thought that the other party wanted to command the war this time. A thought flashed through everyone's mind. He wants merit, why? Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow Diamond Suit. Soon everyone's eyes showed a hint of surprise, and they roughly guessed what Tongshenzi wanted to do. Aiming at the position of Prime Minister? This guy has great ambitions. Everyone thought of a question in their hearts: if this war can really lead the empire to victory, then this kind of prestige is enough for the people of the empire to choose him as Prime Minister. At this time, the Prime Minister of the Red Lotus Empire obviously thought of Tongshenzi's goal, and he looked at Tongshenzi deeply. After thinking for a while, he slowly said, "If you can take out the entire northern army, then it's nothing to give you the command of this war." Honglian Prime Minister is also a powerful figure. He was able to do this when the original Prime Minister Dong Gong Taiyu disappeared. He became the Prime Minister directly from the position of Deputy Prime Minister, and at the same time he was able to quickly grasp the overall situation of the empire, which shows how powerful this person is. Even if you win this war, you are only qualified to do so. It is still unknown who will win. Not to mention the intrigues of the top leaders of the empire, all parts of the Honglian realm were in shock at this time. Each force has received news from the empire. For a while, all forces made the same decision. They sent the most elite teams to gather in Honglian City from all over the world. Various heavy transport aircraft, transportation magic weapons of the sect, and various strange illusions on the strange side were all activated. Loading countless soldiers and strong men, a breath of impending storm enveloped the whole world. Everyone felt that the crisis of death was approaching. Once this war failed, the Honglian realm would be doomed. No matter what kind of dirty and dark thoughts are in your heart. But at this time, there is only one choice for countless forces. If the skin is gone, where will the hair be attached? No one will make trouble at this juncture, because this is a war of death if you don't win. There is not even the qualification to surrender and compromise. The weird existence only needs you to die, not surrender. This is completely different from the war between humans. No one dares to have a fluke mentality. In just 1 hour, the troops transported by various methods have exceeded 2 million, and all gathered in an area 500 kilometers outside Honglian City. The 6 major weirdos among the natives of Honglian realm have all arrived. The hospital director Hua Changshen, the president of the Weird Association Mo Ruyi, the deputy general manager of the black-clothed men Zhou Yahuang, the general manager of the black-clothed men Wang Shenyi, the empire elder Mo Dongshen, and the Weird Object Management Office Huang Yuxian, they all gathered outside Honglian City at the first time. The northern province's combat power, the 100,000 man team closest to Honglian City, has also arrived here, led by Tongshenzi himself. The 5 great Tiangxiandao masters of the sect, plus the newly promoted Tiangxiandao masters Ingyuezi, a total of 6 Tiangxiandao, have also arrived outside Honglian City. The heads and masters of the major sects have also received the summons of the 6 Tiangxiandao masters, and no one can disobey. Originally, there were dozens of Dixiandao masters in Honglian City, all of whom came for the life crystal in Lin Yi's hand. But at this time, as the situation suddenly changed, they were also summoned here. The combat forces of all parties are being rapidly integrated, and the Empire's most advanced artificial intelligence is analyzing all combat forces. At the same time, arrangements are being made to prepare for the first wave of the strange army's impact. 500 kilometers outside Honglian City, in a temporary front-line command post. All 13 Tiangxiandao level combat forces gathered here, and they are almost the top combat forces in this world. Among them, Tongshenzi was also among them, and his eyes were looking at the powerful people present. With a faint smile on his face, everyone, from now on, I will be responsible for commanding the entire battlefield. We have investigated the situation on the opposite side. Gu Huawei with white gloves, he has summoned all the strange beings on the land of Honglian realm. There are more strange beings in various areas of Honglian realm, and they are constantly gathering towards his position. According to our calculations, the total number of strange beings has exceeded 100 million. Currently, this team has about 10 million strange beings. Among them, there are about 300 strange beings of the Earth Immortal Dao. Our Honglian realm mobilized all the Earth Immortal Dao levels, which is only this number. The Empire has already taken out all the combat robots that have been produced during this period. The number is about 10 million, but this is the limit. Almost all the supplies of the Empire have been exhausted. Our Imperial Army and your troops together only have 3 million. Our total force is only 13 million, which is 10 times the gap compared to the 100 million weird beings. This war will be the final decisive battle. Once it fails, the world will be looted by weird beings. At that time, the large gate to the other world will be opened, and more weird beings will surge out of it. We will no longer have any hope. Now I hope everyone can express their opinions and talk about how to deal with this war next. According to our judgment, it will take about 2 hours for the army of tens of millions of strange beings led by Gu Huawei to arrive here. We don't have much time. Tongshenzi's face showed a trace of seriousness. Relying on the dragon energy of the northern province, he has the power to rival the great celestial beings. He even has a place in the highest level meeting in the world. Faced with the unprecedented crisis, he directly took the initiative to preside over the meeting. At this time, Zishan Emperor Huangtian showed a smile in his eyes. I have a suggestion that can increase our chances of winning. When everyone heard this, their eyes fell on him. Zishan Emperor Huangtian said slowly, I heard that someone in Honglian City has mastered a method to extract lifespan. If we can get this method, we can wake up a large number of Earth Immortal Dao predecessors sleeping in major sections. Once these Earth Immortal Dao masters wake up, they can immediately recover to their peak state after using these lifespan crystals. At least we can add 200 Earth Immortal Dao level strongmen. A Earth Immortal Dao level strongman is enough to resist tens of thousands of strange beings in a battle. 200, that is, millions of strange beings will be blocked. As long as we maintain the battle line properly, even hundreds of millions of strange beings will be killed by us. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 576. All we need is time to accumulate results. Hearing this, everyone's heart moved, their eyes flashed with an inexplicable brilliance. Xuanhuan on the side had a malicious smile on her face. I know this person, his name is Lin Yi, and he opened a store called Wanchaiwu. He earns money by solving various ghost incidents for others. He once joined the Black Clothes Men and is an external specialist of your empire Black Clothes Men. But this person is a bit weird, and his methods are endless. Every time someone wants to take advantage of him, they will hit their heads and bleed. He is a person with a mysterious origin. It's probably not that easy to get the method of extracting the life crystal from him. Xuanhuan's eyes were sinister, and she inadvertently brought Lin Yi into everyone's sight. And it was a not-so-good negative image. Zishan Emperor Tian showed a trace of indifference in his eyes, with a smile on his face. Mysterious. How mysterious? Can he be as mysterious and powerful as us? At most, he has mastered some strange powers. Under the power of the celestial immortal Dao, he can't make any waves? I am not joking about the Zen light of Zishan's salvation. As long as there is life, it will be saved. No matter what kind of power he has, we will dig it out. In his few words, Emperor Tian seemed to have decided Lin Yi's future. No one in the other celestial immortal Dao in the command center interrupted after hearing Emperor Tian's words. If sacrificing one person can be exchanged for the combat power to match millions of strange beings, then it is naturally worth it. Only Xuanhuan frowned slightly. After all, this man is an external consultant of our black-clad headquarters. If we force him to hand over this mysterious method, it will not be a good thing for the imperial system. After all, there has never been a saying that one has forced his subordinates to hand over secrets. Anyway, we are in the wrong. So we black-clad men will not interfere in this matter. The Emperor of the West Heaven looked at Xuanhuan indifferently, and finally fell on the deputy head of the headquarters. Haha, everyone knows that the deputy general manager of your black-clothed people and this Lin Yi have some dirty things going on. What's the point of saying you won't intervene now? Well, since you black-clothed people don't want to do this, let our sect do it. Anyway, this is more important to us. At this time, Xuanhuan's face showed a cold smile. In this case, let me do it. I just have some grievances with this person to settle. Since everyone has decided, it's most appropriate for me to be the bad guy. As he said this, the cold smile on Xuanhuan's face became even more intense, and murderous intent was overwhelming. Originally, after he seized the Kishan Xie sect, he planned to seek revenge on Lin Yi and settle the cause and effect. However, forcibly killing an external consultant of the black-clothed people in Honglian City would be a slap in the face of the empire in public. At that time, whether the empire is willing or not, it will have to act abnormally, and he must also pay attention to the impact. Originally, he wanted to act secretly, and the Tianxiandao sneak attack would naturally be invited, and the impact would be weakened to the minimum. But now this sudden incident has given him an opportunity to take action openly. And no one will interfere with him. He can fully display what he has learned and let Lin Yi pay the price for his past. Completely resolve the cause and effect between him and Lin Yi. At this time, the deputy director of the headquarters said coldly, "This Lin Yi is ambitious. He dared to attack me in the underground laboratory. In the past, I didn't take action against him because of the overall situation. Since this person now has something that can interfere with the entire battlefield, we black-clothed men can't be too conservative. First deprive him of his qualifications as an external specialist of the black-clothed men, and then I will take action." Xuanhuan frowned slightly, looked at the deputy director of the headquarters, and finally he didn't say much. Two Tianxiandao level beings are targeting one person like this, although there is a suspicion of bullying the weak with the big and the few with the many. But if this matter can reduce the losses of the empire and have a greater chance of winning this time, he can only acquiesce. Although Tianxiandao is strong, it is not truly invincible. Facing hundreds of millions of strange beings, they are still powerless and in a weak position. A meeting at the level of the heavenly immortal Dao seems to have determined Lin Yi's future. But none of them have thought about whether Lin Yi can be easily defeated as they thought. At this time, a faint cold light appeared in Tongshen's eyes. He proposed that these people discuss ways to defend against the enemy, not for Lin Yi alone. Is this method still unsettled? The most important thing now is to find a practical way to increase our combat effectiveness, and in the shortest possible time. Do you have any other ideas? The president of the Weird Association said slowly, this time the strange beings are coming in full force. Our weird side will once again take out 9 second-level strange illusions and 15 third-level strange illusions as defense fortresses. We can deploy all the teams inside, introduce those strange beings into them, and attack them separately. Divide their forces, divide our pressure, and form a larger buffer zone at the same time. But there is an ancient painting on the opposite side. He must have taken precautions against our tactics. The first step is to contain this person, and then forcibly open the battlefield into a strange illusion. The president is right, but this is just a tactical change and cannot substantially increase our strength. Do you have any other ideas? Tongshenzi said calmly. The leader of the Dao sect on the side looked indifferent. Gather the power of the empire to build an altar outside Honglian city. Many of our sects will move into the altar and build formations to suppress all weird existences. Increase our chances of victory based on the weird illusion fortress. This time the formation will be co-hosted by the 5 great immortals of our section. Even if tens of thousands of strange beings attack at the same time, they can still suppress it. But to do this, it will take at least a month to build enough altars. It's too late in a short time. The leader of the Dao sect said casually. Tongshenzi glanced at everyone present, thought for a while and then said. Since none of you have any good ideas, I have an idea here. Everyone looked at Tongshenzi. In fact, they probably guessed what Tongshenzi wanted to say. This is the immortal dragon seed I forged. It allows all the strong men in the Empire's army to refine a immortal dragon seed. The house of everything I created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 577. At that time, the Empire's army will form a huge fairy dragon domain, weakening the strange existence by about 3 times. At the same time, with the cooperation of combat robots, the power comparison between us and the strange existence will be greatly reversed. Our chances of winning will also increase rapidly. The head of the black-clothed men, who had been silent, raised his eyelids and glanced at Tongshenzi. Your method is not very clever. I have also seen the immortal dragon seed. It is made of dragon energy combined with immortal energy. It is indeed ingenious and cannot be copied by anyone. There are secrets in it that we don't understand. A trace of the power of the root combines the two. If this immortal dragon seed is refined, it will be affected by you. Unless you step into the heavenly immortal path, you can't eliminate the hidden dangers. Tongshenzi looked at the head of the black-clothed man headquarters and smiled slightly, saying, I can only influence and control them. But I can't dominate their life and death. It's just to add some chips for me to ascend to the Prime Minister's position in the future. The Empire is the Empire after all, and the system is the system after all. Everyone understands the problem. Now that the Empire can survive and preserve more power, it is the most important thing. As the saying goes, choose the lesser of 2 evils, and my immortal dragon seed can unite the power of the Empire, which is not a bad thing. Only by surviving can we be qualified to talk about the future, right? Tongshenzi talked ramblingly, and everyone present was slightly silent. They have already entered the level of heavenly immortals, and the role of the system on them has been reduced to the extreme. It doesn't really matter who is the prime minister of this empire. The combat power of the 6 weirdos of the empire, after thinking for a while. An invisible thought echoed between them, and a breeze of information blew in this command center. In the end, they seemed to have reached a consensus. Huan Yuxian said slowly, "We can agree to your plan. But you must mobilize all the forces of the entire northern province to join this war." "No problem, as long as you agree, the Northern Legion will fully participate in this war and fight for the empire." Tang Shenzhen knew that if he didn't show substantial performance, his dream of an earthly fairyland would be impossible to achieve. "It's a pity that you don't know, as long as this fairy dragon seed is spread in the army of the Red Lotus Empire. How many benefits are brought in it, those ordinary practitioners can't resist it at all. They will be promoted to a realm in a short time, no matter who it is, they can't resist this temptation. The most amazing thing about the fairy dragon seed is that it can use dragon energy to wash the foundation of the practitioner. Give the first-time refiner an opportunity to improve, and basically they can break through a small realm. If you are already at the first level of the human immortal path, you can directly complete the process of accumulating essence. At the same time, you can also accelerate the practice of the third level of the human immortal path, and enter the peak realm of the human immortal path in a short time. If you are at the peak of the mortal path, then with the effect of refining the immortal dragon seed, you can immediately become the first level of the human immortal path. This is the benefit of ascending to heaven in one step, and it is also a temptation that countless people cannot resist. The benefit of practicing the Tao is that it can greatly improve life and strength, and its popularity is far beyond the weird side. In this era of crisis, nothing is more reassuring than having your own strength. Moreover, the immortal dragon seed will be practiced faster as the official position increases, and it is completely rooted in the dragon energy of the empire. This practice speed is incomparable to practicing alone. As long as they use it, they will no longer be able to resist the temptation of the speed of improvement. When the word spreads, the fairy dragon seeds will eventually become popular in the empire. As long as the official personnel of the empire refine the fairy dragon seeds in large quantities, no one can escape my control. Thinking of this, Tang Shenzhen's heart was filled with joy. He has almost entered the level of Tianxiandao. As long as he can ascend to the position of Prime Minister, it will not be a problem to enter the higher level of Tianxiandao. No one has discovered his most fundamental purpose, which is information asymmetry. After achieving his goal at this time, Tang Shenzhen said slowly, "Next, let's start preparing. There is still more than an hour before the first wave of strange beings arrive. I hope everyone will work together to resist this disaster." After the meeting, things began to be arranged one by one. There were huge changes outside Honglian City, and an orderly base quickly rose from the ground. One after another, strange illusions appeared at the forefront of the Empire's defense network, forming a solid fortress and barrier. The immortal dragon seeds were also distributed quickly. All the regular troops of the Empire were refining the immortal dragon seeds into their bodies. At this time, the dragon energy of the Red Lotus Empire was being injected into these people. The dragon energy that had been accumulated by the faith of countless people in the Red Lotus Empire for hundreds of years was being consumed rapidly. However, the dragon energy accumulated by billions of people in the empire for hundreds of years was endless. Even millions of troops could not consume 1%. And this 1% consumption directly created millions of human immortal masters. There were even more than 100,000 top human immortal masters appearing in the base. All this was a change that occurred in just 1 hour. The horror of the immortal dragon seed was shown to everyone for the first time, and even shocked many high-ranking Tianxiandao warriors. All this indicates that a huge change is slowly taking shape, beyond everyone's understanding and imagination. At this time, no one noticed the smile in Tang Shenzhen's eyes. He stood alone at the top of the command center, feeling the resonance between the immortal dragon seed and him. At this time, he could use the power of millions of troops to burst out the great power of the second level of Tianxiandao. Even the 6 Tianxiandao high-ranking officials of the sect were only at this level. A figure appeared silently behind Tongshenzi. Mi Wuking, the leader of the Nishandao sect, was also the original leader of Tongshenzi. I didn't expect you to have come this far. Tongshenzi knew his arrival and said without any surprise. It was also thanks to the cultivation of the sect master that I was able to seize the opportunity and break through in one fell swoop. 2 immortals in one sect, this time our Nishan Dao sect has suppressed Dao section. Sect master, I wonder if you can help me. Mi Wuking looked at Tongshenzi in front of him with a slightly complicated look. The other party's growth rate far exceeded his imagination. Although they are from the same sect, it does threaten his position. This time he came here to find out what Tongshenzi was thinking, quietly creating something like the immortal dragon seed. What do you want me to help you with? The house of everything I created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 578. I want the sect master to help me ascend to the position of prime minister and mobilize all the potential power of the Nishan Dao section. Why? Mi Wuking said indifferently. It's very simple, in order to try not to leave the Red Lotus realm, and do my best to save this world. Hearing Tongshenzi's words, Mi Wuking frowned. You know. Who can't see the current situation? And this news has begun to leak out. I know it's not a strange thing. There are countless masters in this world, there will always be someone who can see the clues, and the sect is not a monolithic entity. Humph, so what if you see it? The ending has long been doomed. All we can do is delay the arrival of this ending and earn the most resources. Tongshenzi turned his head and looked at me looking in front of him. The other party was in harmony with nature. He resonated with the power of the Red Lotus realm all the time. As an existence that controls the dragon energy, he can even see that a trace of power from the origin of the Red Lotus realm is being injected into Mi Wuking's body, pushing his realm up slowly. This is the helplessness of the Red Lotus realm. If the world wants to save itself, it cannot put hope on only one person. All those who are qualified will be noticed by the world. As long as this person fights against the strange existence, he will naturally get the tilt of the world's origin power. But the world is just lacking consciousness, and has no real independent consciousness. It can only tilt power according to the general situation, and this is the loophole that these Tianxiandao masters exploit. By creating the illusion of fighting against the strange existence, sacrificing the disciples and forces of the sect to complete the creation of the illusion. In the end, all the tilts of the origin against the sect were absorbed by them. Even the original 100-year plan was to allow the sect to be born in advance and participate in the great changes. Avoid missing the first wave of the tilt of the world's origin after the great changes, which is the largest wave of origin. It is their only hope for breakthrough, everything is for themselves. After entering the Tianxiandao, Tongshenzi can already see his related past, future, and present. The plans of the sect's immortals are naturally noticed, which is not a secret at the level of Tianxiandao. When he entered the heavenly immortal Dao, he already knew the cause and effect of the murder of Donggong Taiyu's son. Lin Yi almost ruined their century-long plan. Fortunately, he finally completed all the plans and saw the secret of the unity of dragon energy and immortal way. However, Xingyuezi and the deputy general manager wanted to deal with this person, and he was naturally happy to see it happen. After all, Lin Yi was also a potential enemy for him. He looked at his former master, if I can become the prime minister of the Red Lotus Empire. With my immortal dragon way, I can turn the tide and rebuild the Red Lotus world. We don't have to migrate across worlds and bear the unknown risks. Even if we are fully prepared for cross-world migration, we may not be able to find a suitable world. So we might as well do our best to save the Red Lotus world. This war is the best touchstone. If my immortal dragon way can achieve great success, it proves that my immortal dragon way contains hope. Only when I can become the Prime Minister can the immortal dragon way exert its greatest power. Master, what do you think? Mi Wuking looked at Tang Shenzi calmly. He was thinking in his heart, and countless sparks of wisdom flashed in his eyes. Your proposal can be considered, but if you want me to help you become the Prime Minister, I'm afraid I can't do it alone. Tang Shenzi narrowed his eyes slightly, so I hope that Master can help me persuade people from other sects and use their power to help me ascend to the throne. How can I persuade them? I plan to block this attack first, show the power of the immortal dragon way, and then discuss with people from other sects based on the general situation. Then I will promise them great benefits and divide half of the empire's land to them. Hearing this, Mi Wuking's eyebrows jumped. You are quite generous to others. It's a trick to get something for nothing. That's right. But let's wait until you win this war. I hope your immortal dragon way is as powerful as you said. Otherwise, even if I help you, I can't convince those guys. After all, this is related to the life and death of everyone. Unless you show them something practical, they won't show up until they see the rabbit. Tang Shenzi nodded. I understand, so I just hope the sect master will show up at the right time. As long as you can prove your strength, there's nothing wrong with showing up. Then I'll look forward to your performance a little bit, Mi Wuking said with an inexplicable look and a faint smile. You'll see. The two smiled at each other, and Mi Wuking slowly turned around and left, turning into a breeze and disappearing. Tang Shenzi's eyes continued to look at the distant horizon, where a sun was slowly rising. At the same time, a dark cloud covering the sky was approaching here, and the shadow of war was emerging. Tang Shenzi narrowed his eyes. Haha, are you here? Then let's get started. As soon as the thought came, it spread to the entire war zone. Equipped to meet the enemy. A huge battle that covered the sky and the sun began instantly. In front of the position, the decisive battle place composed of a strange illusion, where countless armies and combat robots are ready. The space at the border of the strange illusion was distorted, and one after another ferocious strange existence rushed in. But what awaited them was a purple brilliance, which was boundless and suppressed them instantly. It made them feel extremely uncomfortable. The army of the Empire was blooming with this mysterious purple brilliance. This was the realm of the immortal dragon. It was vaguely seen that a phantom of the dragon energy of the Empire appeared above the army. Infinite energy was attracted, and the dragon energy and this purple brilliance merged into one, absorbing more power. The entire phantom of the dragon was dyed purple, fused with the purple realm, and bloomed with even greater pressure. All the strange existences that entered this purple brilliance had their power weakened by more than 3 times. The higher the level, the stronger the weakening, not just the power of these armies. That was the dragon energy that gathered hundreds of millions of people from the entire Red Lotus Empire and the Empire's land veins. Mighty and endless. The first wave of vanguards that rushed into the strange illusion was only a few 100,000, how could they resist such suppression? Accompanied by the purple light, the first wave of strange existences was suppressed. A large number of combat robots rushed out. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The House of Everything I Created. Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 579. As consumables, they will always rush to the front. For them, even if they are completely crushed, as long as they can kill a strange existence, it is a profit. Moreover, under the suppression of this fairy dragon domain, they can kill dozens or hundreds of strange existences before they will eventually die. The power of combat robots is constant, and there is almost no combat power lower than the human fairy level. Moreover, each combat robot has countless moves to use, and its solid steel body can ignore most weak attacks. As long as their fundamental structure cannot be destroyed, they cannot be destroyed. This is one of the powerful places of combat robots. The first wave of vanguards did not even last 10 minutes and were divided and destroyed by tens of thousands of combat robots. But the loss of these combat robots was even less than 5,000. And the whole battle has just begun, and more strange existences rushed into the vast strange fantasy like a torrent. In the center of the strange army, Gu Huawei and Ai Ching stood here quietly, watching the war ahead. Kong Xiao's murderous intent filled the entire sky, and the blood-red sunlight continued to fall from the sky. At this time, the strange army created clouds and mists transformed by strange power, firmly blocking the light that continued to fall from the sky. The light of the sun has a huge lethality to strange beings. So after the strange beings formed a large army, the first thing they did was to create extremely huge and thick black clouds and mists, in order to prevent the sun of the Red Lotus realm from causing harm to them. In the battle at the North Pole, the three great celestial beings relied on their own great power to break through the clouds covering the sun. The endless sunshine caused a lot of damage to the strange beings, and they were eventually wiped out by the Empire, the sect, and the strange side. Although Gu Huawei was no longer on the battlefield at that time, he knew the results of the battlefield clearly. This time, he summoned the strange beings that were rampant in various parts of the Red Lotus realm, and the clouds and mists he created were even thicker and more dignified than the clouds and mists at the North Pole at that time. Even if 10 celestial immortals took action, they could only temporarily make a few holes at most. Then the clouds will close quickly and cover the sun again. It will not cause an irreversible situation, so he is not afraid of these Tianxiandao strong men. However, this time is the real final battle, which brings together almost all the weird beings in the entire Red Lotus realm, although less than 3/10 are present now. But every minute, more weird beings will join his army. Countless weird beings came from all over the world. He calculated the time and there are at least 7 days left. After 7 days, the real final battle will begin. Now it is just a tentative attack. Hundreds of thousands of weird beings disappeared in the weird illusion, and Gu Huawei was not distressed. He just looked at the battle line in front of him indifferently, his eyes were cold, and a thought sounded in Ai Ching's mind. You will preside over the sacrifice, and I will deal with those people. Yes, great weird. At this time, Ai Ching still held a mysterious scepter and stood quietly in the center of the weird beings. The cane in his hand was directly stabbed into the ground by him, and a circle of black and deep strange power rushed into the depths of the ground. Then this pure black strange power spread rapidly and gradually formed an illusory altar. This altar covers an area of thousands of square meters, with layers of pyramid-like structures, hundreds of meters high, and deeply embedded under the ground. The top is a square platform with a diameter of about 10 meters. The center is right under Ai Ching's feet, and the black scepter is inserted in the center of this square platform. Countless strange beings who died in the strange fantasy, their bodies will quickly emit a trace of strange power after death. All these forces were sucked into the ground, and along the mysterious attraction, fell into this illusory huge altar. Every time the strange power is injected into the altar, it will become more and more real, and it looks like it is real. It seems that it grows by absorbing the strange power emitted by the dead strange beings. As time goes by, it will become more and more real, and finally come to this world completely. If you look closely, you will see the strange power emanating from the scepter. It was a network of strange symbols, and this network crisscrossed and finally woven this mysterious illusory altar. Gu Huawei slowly rose up, like a black smoke rushing into the black clouds in the sky. Then he exuded a terrifying strange power. This strange power spread rapidly into the clouds like a spider web. In about a few minutes, Gu Huawei seemed to have become a whole with this cloud. This cloud connects countless strange beings on the ground, and Gu Huawei can draw their power at any time and enter this cloud. The war quickly began to enter a fierce state. As more and more strange beings rushed into the strange illusion, the pressure on the fairy dragon field became greater and greater. The suppression of the strange beings also weakened slightly. But even so, it maintained a suppression of about 2 times, and the human army still had a slight advantage. Especially among the strange beings, most of them are only human immortals, and there may be only one strange being with the combat power of ghost immortals in 10,000. As long as they enter the immortal dragon realm, the combat power of ghost immortals will be suppressed to the peak of human immortals. At this time, they will become the targets of targeted sniping. The masters of the ghost immortal Dao in the human army will take action to surround and kill them. The only opponents for combat robots and ordinary armies are those strange beings who have been suppressed to the mortal realm or the first level of the immortal realm. If there weren't too many weird beings, this would definitely be a naked massacre. But precisely because there are so many of them, the human army can only have a slight upper hand. Even if they are suppressed by the immortal dragon realm, among the large number of suppressed weird beings, the number of people with the combat power of the human immortal way is not inferior to the human army and combat robots combined. The number is at most 20 to 30% less. This is destined to be a stalemate war, and no one knows where the final outcome will be. In the headquarters, Tongshen's voice slowly sounded, "Everyone, the ancient painting ash is hiding in the strange clouds and mist in the sky. Now the front line below has been temporarily stabilized. The Empire's engineering team has begun to build a large number of altars in the rear. It will take about 6 days to complete. Meet the needs of all sections. Regarding the longevity crystal, the masters of the sect have also started to take action. I think there will be results this afternoon. The House of Everything I Created." Author, Yinian Luan Tianji. Chapter 580. These 2 plans will be carried out at the same time. So now it's our turn to kill the strange beings to the maximum extent, so that the army has an advantage and reduces casualties. There is only one tactic we can use now that can greatly reduce the number of strange beings. Tear apart the strange clouds in the sky and use the light of the Red Lotus Realm Sun to eliminate a large number of strange beings. So I suggest that we act together. Even if Gu Huawei faces all of us, he is just a mantis trying to stop a chariot. We need to increase our advantages and the possibility of victory little by little. Everyone looked at Tongshenzi, and no one objected. The immortal dragon realm allowed them to see the possibility of winning this war. Although it was very small. Within a safe range, they also supported Tongshen's plan. Mi Wuking expressed his opinion first, "Yes. Dao Zone Dao Tianxian, good. Huan Yuxian, it's feasible." Seeing that everyone agreed to his proposal, Tongshenzi felt a little happy. "Then please all take action together." The next moment, 13 infinite rays of light rose from the command center. 13 figures of various colors cut through the sky and rushed into the strange clouds above the strange beings. As if with the power of the god of the sun, huge shock waves and explosions exploded from the clouds. This force seemed to tear the entire cloud apart and turn the sky into a pure world. But something unexpected happened. The range covered by this strange cloud was too huge, almost reaching a range of thousands of kilometers. Although the explosion was fierce, at this time, the cloud seemed to have a will, and it was surging violently. One after another, the clouds rolled from farther away, like a big wave. Surged towards this cloud that was shaken by the shock wave. A huge black wave slammed into the hole torn by 13 high-level Tiangxiandao. Rumble. The huge black clouds in the sky were shaking and fluctuating. The torn hole was covered again in an instant. The impact was like a collapse of the sky, causing 13 high-level Tiangxiandao-level people to sway in the clouds. Like the surface of the sea, the waves were surging, forming waves of clouds and mist. Facing the huge waves of clouds and mist, Tongshenzi and others also changed their expression slightly. Although their power can affect an area of 10 kilometers, dozens of kilometers, or even hundreds of kilometers. But facing the huge waves of thousands of kilometers, they cannot suppress them in one fell swoop. The thoughts of Dao Tianxian, the leader of Dao sect, rang in everyone's mind. Everyone, the power of the ancient painting gray and the sea of clouds are combined into one. The power of the sea of clouds comes from the strange army below. It is impossible for us to destroy this place alone. Now we can only wait for the result of a head-on war. Carry out the following two backup plans. Whether it is the completion of the altar or the increase in the number of masters from the earthly immortals, it can greatly enhance our combat power. Let Xingyuezi and the deputy director of the headquarters preside over this backup plan. Dao Tianxian's voice was cold and put forward the top priority at the moment. This time no one objected, even Xuanhuan Jiaxian had nothing to say. The situation was so great that Lin Yi needed to make sacrifices. However, one of his thoughts had already turned invisible and was transmitted to Sakuramiya Shirley's house. In the Wanchaiwu, Lin Yi was in front of the French window, sorting out his life's learning and carefully feeling every bit of power in his body. At the same time, he was playing with the treasures of the universe in his hands. There are countless information in it, which evolves the composition and transformation of all things in the universe in his eyes. There are quite a lot of information in it, which are verified with various theories he has learned before. For example, gravity, dark matter, the speed of light, the law of mass and energy, etc. The information he has seen from it during this period has verified the authenticity of various knowledge he has learned. His understanding of the world is becoming more and more real and close to the essence. For example, the speed of light is not absolutely constant, because its speed will change in different cosmic locations. Or medium-sized black holes that should not exist are also seen by him through the treasures of the universe, and human theories have many flaws. Even the laws of physics will change under different circumstances. After watching and understanding this information, he is also sorting out the essence of cultivation in this world. He knows very well that once he understands the essence of cultivation, he can more easily grasp the laws of heaven and earth and use them for his own benefit. Truly achieve the degree of unity of all laws. For example, at this time, a ray of Buddha light in his left hand is flashing, and under the absolute control of his true source of life, an independent space-time has evolved. His Buddha light even became the most basic space-time structure, which was incredible. If he had not understood the concept of space-time from the treasures of this universe, he would not have been able to use the true source of life to create this independent space-time. This thing seemed to be only the size of a palm and seemed to have no effect. But if Lin Yi made it explode and collapse, it would be equivalent to the collapse of space-time. All material energy depends on space-time to exist. When space-time collapses, any material energy will be swallowed up and disappeared, and then erased. This is the result of his mastery of information and transformation into power. Although he has not mastered other skills now, no one can resist the power of evolving time and space and then breaking time and space. At least, if you don't enter the heavenly immortal Dao, there is absolutely no possibility of resistance. This simple independent time and space has already given him an invincible killing method. At this time, his independent time and space is still a round and flawless form, just like a table tennis ball. That's because his understanding of the power of time and space is only superficial. It is not possible to manipulate time and space at will, and the circle is the most stable form. But it can be used in actual combat. I don't know if you can take it, and whether you can withstand my move, time and space collapse. With a smile, Lin Yi's eyes swept around, looking at the earthly immortal masters surrounding the Wanchaiwu one after another. They hid in the dark, thinking that Lin Yi couldn't see, but in fact, everything within a radius of 1 kilometer was clearly visible in Lin Yi's eyes. 33 Earth Immortal Dao Masters, from different sects, almost all the sects are here. But you probably don't know, I have seen the power in your body clearly. At this time, in Lin Yi's mind, all the Earth Immortal Dao techniques of the 33 sects have no secrets. As long as he wants, he can use the techniques of the 33 sects at any time. The only difference is that he has not yet mastered the killing methods of these sects, that is, he only has the training method but no fighting method.